Cynthia,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Miss
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
May,
Yes.
and it's a yes from me. So the agenda is approved with that change. Our next point of order is public participation.
Fundraisers. Sorry, Eliana.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Fundraisers. So I see Patty is here with us. We all received the fundraisers that FOT submitted for consideration and approval. There are four of them. So Patty, if you could, for the sake of time, go over the four. We will vote individually, but please, if you could give us like a recap of all the four.
Okay, the first one, welcome. The first one is the Play It Forward Building Blocks Holiday Shopping event between November 14th and 20th. We've done this for the last number of years, so some of you who are on the council are probably familiar with it. It's if you shop at Building Blocks during that week on those dates, and you mentioned Tubman, we will receive 25% of those sales back in the form of a gift card that we can use for incentives. So that's the first one. Do you want me to go through all four and then you'll just vote on them?
Yes, please. Since we received the information prior to the meeting, we have had the opportunity to evaluate, and if there's further discussion, we will have it. But for the sake of time, since this is a special meeting, please go through the four of them, but we will vote individually. Thank you.
Okay, I did say to the council that the dates might change, but I did get confirmation those are the actual dates. So that was before, when I sent it, I wasn't sure. The next one is bingo at George Street Pub for parents and caregivers night out. We also are going to include staff if they want to come, but there's no obligation to. We would like to host a bingo night event at George Street Pub, and they will donate a percentage of proceeds from food and drink back to Tubman. They haven't confirmed the amount yet, but they said that they would do that, and they welcome us there. Additionally, parents can purchase the bingo cards for $5 a card, and those proceeds, 100% of those proceeds will go back to Tubman. The fee to attend the event is just if you would like to purchase the bingo cards and or any food and drink, but all are welcome and don't have to spend any money if they choose not to. So that was that one. The next one is Winterland Wishes. We're bringing back this event to the school on December 3rd. Sorry, I'm using my phone, so I'm holding it and trying to read. It's actually traditionally a give back event, and I'm not sure that we're really going to do any fundraising, but I put it in here just in case we choose to do some kind of donation jars set up around the school in certain spots, but it is traditionally more of a give back event, so I'm not sure. I just wanted to have that option in case we're going to meet tomorrow night as a board and discuss it, but we hadn't yet, so I wanted to just put it out there in case we choose to do a very small minor fundraising aspect for it. And then the last one is a new one for us, and it's in February, but the parent had already sent me the info, so I figured I would try to get that approved and just get it on the table. It's a fundraiser at Matisse, a hair and spa studio. This is Brittany Kersey's studio that she owns. She has generously offered to do a fundraiser for the entire month of February, where she would donate 10% of all the purchased products and services from the salon back to Tubman. And that's a new one for us, so that's all I got.
Thank you, Patty. You mentioned that you had confirmed that the dates you put on the request for approval are correct. So Winterland Wishes would be December 3rd.
Yeah, that one was already approved by Principal Gibson months ago in the summer before we put our magnet together. I'm sorry, when I was talking about the dates, that was for the Building Blocks holiday shopping event because I didn't have confirmation on those dates. But since I sent this to you guys on Sunday, I have found out that those are the right dates. But everything else, the dates are accurate.
Okay, I just have, in terms of the Winterland Wishes, you mentioned that you're not sure yet if it's going to be a fundraising event or not, and that you're meeting tomorrow as a board. Given that our next scheduled meeting is on December 7th, which would be past the date, I would request that if you could send us like the final decision of the FOT once you meet tomorrow to determine if this is something then we have to go back or not. In terms of if there's no fundraising, then we will vote on it now, but just to have the final information of what's going to happen if there's going to be a fundraiser or not.
So with respect to that event in the past, what we have done before COVID times, we had donation jars set up on the main floor, and people just, would donate a couple of bucks here and there, and then that money would go back. But I don't know that we're going to do that again. We haven't really gotten into all the nitty gritty of the planning of that event yet.
Okay, so we could assume that then if anything, it would be the donation jar. I just want to make sure that we know what we're specifically voting just for the sake of record. Okay,
Correct.
Thank you, Patty. Yeah. Any further discussion about the fundraisers? Mr. Hall?
Patty, I have a quick question about the Play It Forward. I know we've done it in the past. When you say the gift card goes towards incentives, could you clarify, like, what is that? Incentives, I'm assuming student, but what are some examples of incentives?
Yes, like what we'll do is we'll put it on our pledge drive wheel that we do in the pledge drive in February, and it will be one of the chances for a student to win a gift card.
Any other questions regarding the fundraisers? Okay, so we vote. First of all, in the agenda, it's the bingo at George Street Pub. Mr. Hall?
Has there been a motion?
Oh, sorry.
I can motion it. I'll motion to approve the bingo at George Street Pub fundraiser.
I'll second.
Thank you. Let's vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
May?
Yes.
And it's a yes for me. The next one, I motion to approve the Play It Forward Building Blocks Holiday Shopping Fundraiser.
I'll second.
Thank you. We vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
May?
Yes.
And it's a yes for me too, so the fundraiser is approved. The next one, I motion to approve the Winterland Wishes fundraiser.
I'll second.
I'll second.
We vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
May?
Yes.
And it's a yes for me. So the Winterland Wishes fundraiser is approved. And the last one, I motion to approve the Matisse Salon Spa fundraiser.
I'll second.
Thank you, Cindy. We vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
May?
Yes.
And it's a yes for me too. So the Matisse fundraiser is also approved. All 4 fundraisers are approved. Thank you, Patty, for the information and FOT.
Thank you so much.
Cynthia, you have a question?
I'm signed in on my Chromebook as Campbell, so I can't do everything I need to do. I'm going to log off. I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you, Sophia.
Thanks.
And now we move to public participation.
Okay, members of the public are welcome to make comments and ask questions, but they must sign in to participate. The public is called upon to speak in the order they sign in. The public is kindly requested to limit their comments and questions to 3 minutes. Based on the comments or questions, the principal may address some concerns directly, and if necessary, create an action step for the LSC to follow up with the involved parties at a future date. While the LSC will do its best to address any comments or questions, when necessary, more time may be needed to adequately address a particular concern. There are 3 folks that have signed up today, and just for timekeeping purposes, I'll drop a 1-minute warning in the chat, and then sort of ask, once that wraps up, I'll let you know when those 3 minutes are up. So the first individual tonight, Charlotte Thoresen.
Great, thank you. Thank you all so much for your continued work. My comments aren't exactly direct related to the topics of tonight's meeting, but I just wanted to kind of share a couple of things. We spend so much time as an adult, parent, and caregiver community talking about working together and building our school community. And I just noticed some really incredible work being done in the building by our teachers and staff who are just crushing it at building both strong classroom communities, but also an exciting and enriching school community. So first, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Miss Perillis, and I'm guessing Miss Vincent, for bringing back the Bulldog Buddy program, which has become a regular topic of conversation at the dinner table in my house. My 2 kids who are in younger grades feel connected and look up to the older students, have new faces to wave to in the hall, and I really believe have an enriched experience with the shared activities, such as something big like Unity Day. So thank you. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Oni and the middle school teachers who helped facilitate the middle school volunteers for both the Fun Run and the Fall Fest. The younger kids loved seeing their newly elected LSC representative May running with them and cheering them on with the Bulldog during the fun run. And it made them feel so special to have middle schoolers as the event photographers. And then when Miss Moore found herself as a last minute substitute, I think it was of 6th grade, I'm not really sure, but it was just such a magical act to bring those kids down to cheer on the younger grades for a bit. It just really made the kids feel like rock stars. So just a big, warm, fuzzy school community. Thank you to our teachers and staff for just being outstanding. I have a list of other questions, but I don't want to take time if Principal Gibson is not here. But I did want to say that I know that I'm just hoping that efforts can be made to have public comment questions answered during the meeting. The paragraph read before the comment states that the principal may respond or create an action item. And it doesn't feel like that happens very much. And from this side, sometimes it can feel like you're talking into the wind. So if there are ever easy answers to questions, it'd be great to get them out right away. And I think it would be meaningful to know that our questions on this side are being noted and that there's an intention to provide answers. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Patty.
Hi, my question is really just kind of quick. Where is Principal Gibson? I really just genuinely am concerned and curious about this because the last time we saw her in the building was October 13th, which was the day after the last LSC meeting. And then on October 14th, she didn't show up to the principal conversation meeting. No link was ever sent out to parents. We were all kind of waiting. And it's now, I don't know, almost 2 weeks later, we still haven't heard why that link wasn't shared and why that meeting was canceled. There's been no communication at all in email or really anything from anybody about where she is. So I see she's not on the call tonight. I hope that she is doing well. We as a community, I know her, her family at Audubon was very quick to say a lot of sort of negative things about our community, but actually, we do care about people in our community. And last year when she suffered that horrible situation with her daughter, we as a community really did rally for her, and we raised a lot of funds to help her not have to deal with meals and meal planning. And I know the staff was very, very concerned and constantly reaching out. And so, we are concerned, but at the same time, like, I'm just baffled. I don't know why there's been no communication as to where she is. And I don't know if anyone on the council knows anything that could possibly answer in this meeting. Maybe you can't, maybe I don't know. But in any case, it's a concern, and I would love to know where she is. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. The final individual is Molly Conway, but I didn't see them in the list of folks. Okay. So given that they're not here, I think that's the end of public comment.
Thank you, Robert. Our next point is in the agenda is stated as a closed session to discuss principal evaluation matters. Before we go into a closed session for that, or we vote to decide to go into a closed session, I wanted to talk a little bit about logistics of principal evaluation and specifically also the role of our student rep on that discussion. In terms of the principal evaluation, there's an evaluation that's already locked in for Principal Gibson. There are alternatives for us as a council to finalize that evaluation using other information, which is what's going to be discussed possibly in that closed session. In terms of the student representative, one of the instances where student reps don't vote is anything related to principal evaluation. So in this case, May won't be in our closed session because she doesn't vote on those matters. Like the student representative doesn't vote on those matters. I wanted to clarify that. So that's why our student rep will not be in the closed session. Having said that, I see that Mr. Hall, I don't know if it was Michael or Mr. Hall.
Michael was first.
Okay, Michael.
Thanks. I just wanted to respond to the public comment just briefly. I just wanted to thank Charlotte for the positive comments and reinforcing the community. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I am not thinking about that, so it's always nice to have a touch point back to what's really important, and I was happy to hear that. And in terms of Patty's comment, I don't have any more answers than you do. I've reached out as well, and I personally would like to know that also. So that's all I had. Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Mr. Hall?
So to answer Patty's question and just to inform the board, so Principal Gibson has been out of the office since October 13th, as you stated, Patty. The staff did receive notification from her today that she hopes to be back as soon as she can.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. May?
Hi, I just want to talk about Patty's comment as well. As a student here, I think seeing the principal around and the principal coming into classrooms is really important. And now just hearing what Mr. Hall said, I understand why she hasn't been around. I just feel like the principal's involvement in especially middle schools, like school day is really important. And I like to see that soon. So yeah.
Thank you, May. Lori?
I just wanted to say, yeah, I have the same feelings, but I also wanted to say thanks to Miss Moore, who showed up on the Saturday for the Fall Fest and was out in the cold for the fun run, and has been sharing just some information on my kid with me, which makes me feel very good that somebody in administration is watching out for him. So if I'm not sure if they're here, but Miss Moore has been killing it. So thank you so very much for all that you do and all the extra that you have been doing. And I just want you to know that we notice, and thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, so now I motion to go into a closed session to discuss principal evaluation. Cindy?
I think we have to invite our.
Yeah, I will before going.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay.
Anyone second the motion?
Second.
Thank you, Robert. We're gonna vote on
Second
this.
the motion.
Let's vote. Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Miss Brooks,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and it's a yes for me too. As I mentioned, the student rep doesn't vote on matters of principal evaluation. I also motion to include our Chief Asaf in our closed session, if she's available.
I think Travelos is on the call.
I think he left the call. I don't
You
know.
did? Oh,
Hi, Chief Asaf.
And good evening. I am available, yes.
Thank you. Motion to include Chief Asaf in our closed session.
I'll second.
Thank you. We vote Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Cindy,
yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Miss Brooks,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and it's a yes for me too. So, Mr. Hall, could you please put the link for our closed session? Thank you to all of our community members and parents and caregivers. We will post on our Facebook page when we are coming back into open session. Thank everyone who's here waiting and who's joining us back. I believe everyone of the council members. We have Robert. I don't see. Oh, Michael. Are all the council members here? I think so, right? Cindy. We're missing Cindy. Okay, we have Cindy. Again, thank you to everyone who stayed and joined us again. We are now back in open session. We were discussing principal evaluation matters, and now we are going to hold a vote regarding the principal evaluation, specifically the professional practice questionnaire that was finalized by the previous council in the previous evaluation time period. There is a timeline to finalize that score rating given to our principal. So we are required to vote now on that specific rating. So I don't know if there's a motion to vote on the rating.
I move to vote on the rating from last year's LSC.
I second.
Thank you, Michael. Now we vote. Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Lori,
No.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Cindy,
Begrudgingly, yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Miss Brooks,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Sarah. Oh, Sarah's not here. Do you see Sarah? And let's give it a second to see. So while she joins, I'm gonna call her as we were advised in a previous meeting by Ms. Ford. I'm gonna call her for her vote. Let me see.
She's just joined.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
She should be here shortly. I just let her in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, there's a motion to approve the professional practice questionnaire rating submitted by the previous LSC. And we're voting, so we need your vote.
I approve.
And it's a yes from me too. I'm going to also move a motion for the creation of surveys for the next evaluation period, meaning 2022-23 for our principal. Michael?
I just want to clarify that when you say surveys, you mean both for teachers and larger community, including parents and other staff.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, I am going to rephrase my motion. My motion will be to create surveys for families and communities and staff.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Now we vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
And it's a yes for me too. So we have voted and agreed upon creating surveys for families, community, teachers, staff for our next evaluation period, 2022-2023, regarding our principal. Is there any other? Michael?
I'd like to introduce a motion to have the committee consider a feedback session and gathering of more data with the intent of evaluating the preliminary summative rating that we now have established and voted on, with the ability for us to change that by November 30th and provide additional commentary. My motion is specifically in support of gathering this data and holding a feedback session at a to be determined date.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Sarah. We vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
And it's a yes for me too. Thank you, Michael. Any other motion regarding the principal evaluation? Thank you. So our next point would be,
I don't have a motion, but I just have a comment and just
yes, sir.
just acknowledging the appreciation for the conversation that we're having now about this process, the thoughtfulness that we're putting into this, and the level of that we're approaching this with a level of the comprehensiveness that we're engaging in the process itself.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. I agree. I know it's important to all of us, but for me specifically, being the chair, that this is a process that our whole community knows is going to be a very transparent process. We are going to share any information we can and are able to share, and we want our families and communities to do the same when the time comes for us to hear their feedback and have all that information that will help us make a very strong and accurate evaluation of our leadership. So it is very important for me personally, but I know that my fellow council members feel the same way, that everyone knows the level of professionalism and responsibility we all have, the commitment we have for this to be a very transparent, correct, fair, and open process for everyone. We are doing this for our school. We are doing this for all our kids. We are doing this for all our staff. So I want that to be very, very clear. I want anyone to feel free to reach out to any of us. We are a team and we are going to work that way. So thank you, Sarah. I echo your words and I wanted to make it very, very clear. I thank you all and I want to publicly say it because I agree with Sarah. Our discussion was very, very, very nice, very professional, very respectful. And that's the way we work as adults. So is there any other matter of discussion? So our next item would be action steps. Next steps are action items.
Is the next step, do we need to have another special meeting to kind of round out the evaluation process? What do you think?
Yes.
All
We, Cynthia?
I think I just answered my own question in my head, but I'm wondering if there is if we need to create a committee so that we can meet not to be secret, but to like work on some of our questions that will be, like the framework of any feedback that we might be giving.
Yes. Yeah, Cynthia, on the agenda for our next meeting, which is going to be our next regular meeting, which is going to be too far away for this. It's the approval and voting on the creation of the principal evaluation committee. However, I think that given the circumstances of the votes we have had today and the timeline, which we've been going back and forth with, I agree that there needs to be a discussion about what that timeline. So, Sarah?
Yes. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, did we actually establish that committee in our last LSC? So we didn't have a principal evaluation criteria committee that we voted on last. Okay, I just want that point of clarity.
We proposed it and discussed about it, but there was an issue about that we're not going to vote on the committees until the next meeting, which is scheduled for December 7th. Lori?
Then
Oh, sorry.
I would echo what Cynthia was saying just about given what vote we just passed around the feedback. I think it would be great if that could be done in the context of a committee.
Lori?
Yeah, I'll throw it in the chat, but I'll send it out as an email. I highly recommend that the LSC joins the Raise Your Hand Local School Council Google group. They are huge professionals. There's LSC members from all over the city, and they've already, so we don't have to recreate some of the work. They have examples of everything that we might need, and they're really a great sounding board. So I put it in the chat right here if you want to sign up and join. It's really fascinating to see what's going on in all the other LSCs and more opportunities. And if you don't need to have it here, I'll send it out to the team.
Thank you, Lori. So Cindy, I would say that an action item, next step would be, I don't know if we could put it this way, like calling a special meeting, but we can't put that as an action item. It just has to be done either by the chair or for members or more.
Okay.
So that's something that it's out there. So it will happen. I do think an action item is the request of additional information for that feedback session that Michael proposed and the motion that passed. Any other?
Are we thinking about asking for an extension due to the absence of our principal?
Well, Chief Asaf, I don't know if she's here. She mentioned that she was going to establish the communication with LSC Relations Director, Ms. Ford, about the particular situation about the fact that we can't approve certain things because our principal is not here today.
Is that an
The
action
question,
item to make sure we
I'm so sorry.
communicate with Chief? Oh, hi, Chief Asaf.
Yes, I'm sorry. The questions you posted during closed session were forwarded to both Ms. Ford and Ms. Esther.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief Asaf. Cynthia?
I just wanted to say that I think, Cindy, if we can get that specific language into the action, the next steps.
Mhm.
I don't, never mind.
Lori?
Should we as an LSC, maybe Ileana, should we be sending out something to CPS, maybe questioning why we haven't had a principal for so many weeks? Would that be within our realm? We can't ask that? I see Nick is wise.
I can tell you that I've personally asked to for our community to be informed. That's what I can say.
Then I would like to just put in the minutes that we have asked, the LSC is asking, and would like to have, we are not receiving any guidance as to what to do without a principal at this time.
Thank you, Lori. Anything else?
I love you all.
So if there's no other action items or next steps, as you know, our next regular meeting, virtual until given other instructions, is scheduled for December 7th. Thank you, everyone. So I motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second.
Thank you, Lori. We vote. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
I don't know if May is still with us. I don't think so. And it's a yes for me too. So meeting is adjourned at 7:38 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Asaf.